Welcome to Teaching Orchestra. As we know from the program notes in Labyrinth and from the Webster Dictionary, we know that a labyrinth is an intricate combination of passages, right? So what's going on there? What's the story? Personally, I think we're being chased by a minotaur. And why do I think that? Because why else would we construct a labyrinth but to trap a minotaur and keep it from harassing your village folk or whatever on whatever island you live on? Am I right? Am I right? So how do we tell the story? How do we create an effective performance? Through style. And we have to ask ourselves a question. On the string or off the string? For me, I like both. In measure 20, I like off the string at the frog, and it even says frog here. I like the sound that technique produces. It's fun. If you did it on the string, it would ruin it, no? Just make sure that they grip the string. If we're gonna do it on the string, I'd get crunchy with it, but yeah, still at the frog though, right? What about at F? This is a little trickier to do off the string, but if you pull it off, it's really cool. If you can do the accented notes on the string and the other notes off the string, it gives a lot of color and it also helps with the dynamics. Usually students just do the accents by playing louder, which is better than nothing. But if you have them do a color change by going on the string, you'll get a smoother crescendo here. Okay, let's go back a bit. What about the lyrical stuff? More bow weight, more vibrato. In the second violins, cellos, and basses, every single note is accented. And this obviously isn't melody, right? The melody is obviously in the viola part and first violin part, which are still forte, whereas the seconds, cellos, and basses have dropped down to mezzo forte. If your students are just accenting by playing louder, then the gross dynamic adjustment is going to kind of mess up the distinction between melody and harmony. All right. The GADL, the gross adjusted dynamic levels, right? And the other thing I often wonder is that if everything is accented, what's the point of an accent? Unfortunately, I am but a simpleton. I wave a stick for a living, and I don't have the capacity for these deep philosophical problems, so I just teach my students different bowing styles to change the color of the accented notes instead of the dynamics. But at B, it's definitely not melody. We want the style to contrast, and I think what the accents are showing here is that the violins and violas need to play full bow and lyrical, and the others need to play on the short side and hold off a bit. Probably not at the frog here, probably move to the balance point. At rehearsal J, we get some Loré bowings. A lot of groups play these portato. So what's the difference? Symbolically, Loré is indicated with a tenuto mark under a tie, whereas portato is indicated with a staccato marking underneath a tie. In a portato bow, you stop the bow in between the notes, and with Loré, you don't. You just decelerate the bow, then you add weight and accelerate again. It's a harder technique, but it makes it more legato, and it provides a style contrast to the first violins. All right, let's talk about rehearsal K. Oh, rehearsal K. The way this is written, if you don't get off the string at 140 beats per minute, I'm not sure how you're going to do that. You could just remove the slur and do like a détaché. I think that would be preferable to try to do these on the strings. I think that would probably be a mess if your students can't articulate 4 and the and of 4 on the string in the same direction. And if they're able to do that and rearticulate on the string, it's probably a harder bowing than doing it off the string. So why aren't they doing it off the string? Off the string is an easier technique, right? So what happens here a lot of times is it turns into 4 quarter notes and the and of 4 isn't differentiated. I don't really hear the and of 4 rearticulate in the low strings. So just do a détaché, just change the bowing or do it off the string with that bowing. I do the beginning differently than most people here in Labyrinth, and I'll tell you my idea and you let me know in the comment section how dumb I am, okay? What I do is I make the cello and viola lines into solo lines and treat it like a cadenza, completely free of time here. I just have everybody sustain. I have the solo cellist come in and they play however they want to. Then in measure 3, I bring in the violist. I'll cue the cellist on beat 4, and then I'll start beating time here to keep them together. I'll encourage my violist, although it's not written, to really stretch the time here in this 5/4 and make it sound more mysterious. I know that's not what's written, but at a quarter note equals 60, that's what I would do. I would also put a fermata over the half note on beat 3 in measure 6 so that everybody sustains here before moving on to the faster tempo at the con moto. So that's what I do. That's what I like. Sue me. You don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. Stay home. Well, unless I'm paying you to be a concert judge for us, and then you kind of have to deal with it. So sorry. As I started at the beginning of this video, style is all about telling a story, and although dynamics are directly related to the style, they also help to tell the story too. Make a big deal out of the dynamics in Labyrinth. Most groups do really well with the fortes. They're rocking and rolling, but their pianos are too loud. See if they can tilt their bows so that the hair faces the bridge. Does this help to get to new dynamic ranges? It's not the loud that makes it exciting in Labyrinth. It's the softs, right? That's where the contrast comes in between the two. So have you ever heard someone in your life that yelled at you all the time, like a gym teacher or an unhinged administrator? After a while, it becomes less of a shock to you, right? And you just get used to it, like, oh, there's Coach Angry Face, and guess what Coach Angry Face is gonna do today? That's right, yell at me. I mean, why do you all even do CrossFit? I swear. Anyway, at the same time, with your dynamics, if you're loud all the time, the audience just gets used to it and it's not going to be as effective. So definitely work out the softs. All right, in my next video, I'm going to go over the common problems in Labyrinth, and I hope to see you then.